Apologies, Sark, I don't mean to interrupt here. Can you unmute your mic on OBS? People can't hear you.
Okay, let's start that again. I am so sorry. All right,
all good.
3, 2, 1, and go. Okay. So I'm Hark. I'm running Halo 2 MCC on easy. Just had I guess I actually just muted my mic for some reason, but everything should be good now. So starting off here, we're gonna be just doing basic combat training for the first 2 minutes of the game. And
yep, this is like the classic tutorial level at the beginning of the game. It's teaching you how to look up and down to calibrate your, look sensitivity and things like that. Teaching you the shield mechanic of the game and how Master Chief uses the shields throughout the playthrough. Just basic stuff like that.
yeah.
But ultimately, there's not really too much to speed up here. You'll notice Hark's like pushing AI to get to their positions quicker, to get them to start their dialogue faster and things of that nature.
Yeah, and right here is, there's a little bit of RNG here based on what line of dialogue Master Guns here says. Let's see what we get. Alright, and we got something called Chili Hole Skip, where Master Guns has 2 lines of dialogue. He can either say, his armor's working fine, Johnson, or he can say, his armor's working fine, Johnson, so shut your chili hole. And since he didn't say so shut your chili hole, it ends up saving, around a second and a half. Not too much, but we're saving frames, which is very important.
Yep, it's all up to RNG with that one. We just gotta hope we get the right dialogue.
Yeah. Just a little bit more pushing, and that's just about it for this level. It's just another like 40 seconds until we reach the end of this tram ride.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to point out, if you haven't seen Halo 2 before, or you've only played it casually, you're going to see a lot of cool tricks and movement tech throughout the whole run. You might have heard of sword flying, there's sword canceling, slide jumps, a lot of cool techniques you'll see throughout the run. But we'll explain those more as we get to them in more depth.
Yeah. We're just going to be staring at the planet Earth and all the ships that we have. But as we go through this door right here, we'll notice these Marines are very excited to see us. Especially this guy right here pumping his arm up and down. He's like, yeah! Smash the Chief, yo! He's having a great time.
He's excited for the speedrun.
I know, he's just getting him so typed. And that was...
It's chat right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was Armory. Just a very basic level. This next level, though, is where things really kick off, and where lots of cool things happen. So, right here, we're going to start off with the slide jump. If you jump from a decent amount of height and land on a sloped surface of about 45 degrees or so, then the game will propel you forward because it's using your momentum that you had from your downward velocity and it's transferring it into horizontal velocity. And that's going to be used multiple times throughout the run to just, to speed up sections just a little bit. And we're going to wait about another 10 seconds here for this door to open, and I'm going to be trying to get a weapon called a plasma pistol, and it's going to help us clear out a lot of enemies coming up.
Yep, it'll be crucial for getting some fast clears in the hangar zones.
Alright, and we got it.
Hark got one pretty quick.
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult at some points to get one. There's a trick coming up that I'll let Rep explain. Oh.
Yeah, so basically what he did there was, when you melee, you have a lot of, your melee actually has a lunge to it, and you can cancel this, the melee itself with the X button and the A button, when the A button gives you height, which allows you to keep that forward momentum, and gives you a decent amount of speed if you get canceled at the right time.
And, yeah, we just cleared out Hangar 1, it's very quick. And now Bungie programmed something into where they really wanted you to look at some in-game cinematics. So we're going to look out this window here, or in the general direction of it, and we're going to watch the station blow up. And it actually speeds up the cinematic event by about 10 seconds. If we weren't looking at it, then we would have to wait an additional 10 seconds in that room. But thankfully, we can just look at the door and the game just speeds right on along.
Hangar 2 is more of the same, really. It's just more combat. First, we're gonna clear out the 2 turret grunts and then try to kill as many of these first wave enemies. It'll cause the tubes to spawn. Just gonna try to nade them and clear them out as fast as we can.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yep.
and once
We're clear.
again, we are looking out the window here to see the space station blow up, and it's gonna speed up this room by about another 10 seconds. And once again, once we go through this door here, I'm gonna, well, I didn't get a spawn, but I'm gonna go for a variation of a melee boost here, which I got. Now we're going to pick up the shotgun. It's very important for a couple of the clears coming up, and a couple of the tricks.
Yep, so coming up, he grabbed the shotgun because he's going to do a variation on the melee cancel, except with the shotgun, and he's going to kind of boost down these hallways off some grunts, hopefully. Gain a little bit more speed.
And I kind of got one. Speed, it's a little bit faster than walking. Alright, I'm gonna try not to get back smacked by those elites there. Guess that's a good time to bring up back smack. So, if an enemy, even on easy mode, if they melee you right in the back, it's insta-kill. So we have to watch out during certain sections of the run, make sure that that doesn't happen. And right here, I'm going to be killing 5 drones, and it's very important that I kill 5 to get past this room. Because otherwise this door wouldn't open and we'd be stuck in here. Oh, this guy's still alive. Yeah, alright. So I'm gonna go for maybe one more shoddy boost here, if that guy walks in front, but he did not. It's a little bit RNG with all the spawns you get, so you have to, you know, this level in particular, you have to really, improvise, like on the spot, whenever you're just playing the mission, just improvising to whatever situation you get. And this is the final clear. There's like a lot, like I think like what, like 4 or 5 elites and like 2 grunts that we have to clear out. And we just want to use our nades and fire the shotgun as fast as we can. But that was a pretty good Cairo station.
Yeah, that was really good.
Good start.
Yeah, very good start to the run. So now we have to wait through good old loading screens. It takes a little while, about 20 seconds or so, but they're not too bad. And I guess I'll let Sakela explain the start of this mission.
Yeah, so Outskirts is a very movement-based level. The first half is all on foot, and the second half is in vehicles. And what Harc's going to do is he's going to grenade jump out of the map. You're not supposed to be up here, but he's going to run along these roofs and like cut across the entire section of the map. Normally, you want to go through these hallways, go through a bunch of twists and turns, fight off enemies, all these things. But if you go on top, you can just skip all that, do some slide jumps, do some grenade jumps, and really like cross the area really fast. And up ahead, Harc's gonna jump off this building and do a slide jump into the window of that hotel up ahead, and that'll lead us into the next part of the level.
Yeah, that's a very powerful slide jump. So I just picked up the Magnum, and that's because we want to start out the next level with the fresh loadout, all 4 grenades, stuff like that. The Magnum actually does not exist on the next level, so if you have it in your inventory, whenever we go over to the next level, it'll just delete our weapons and loadout, and we'll just start on, you know, just a brand new fresh loadout. And, Sakela, I guess I'll let you explain the driving here as well.
Yep. So, Harc's gonna try to take as many straight lines here as possible, avoiding any, you know, bumps, any enemies, trying not to hit these containers as he goes by, you know, optimizing his boost pattern where and when he can, just to get the tightest turns. It looks really easy, but it's much more difficult than it is. Like, he hit that one grunt, and it flipped him and cost him a little bit of time. But it happens.
Yeah, on MCC, the ghost basics are a little bit tough.
This tunnel links up to the bridge.
Alright.
Yep, so as he's going to enter this tunnel, he's going to go forward, hit a certain like cinematic load, and then he's going to backtrack a little bit for a Warthog. And it loses a little bit of time going back for the Warthog, you would think, but in the long run, it saves a lot more time. Because we're going to be driving through this tunnel for quite a little bit here. And the Warthog is much faster than the Ghost. So in the long run, it's definitely worth grabbing the Warthog. But once again, he's going to avoid hitting any like roadblocks, any boxes, trying to avoid enemies, just anything that can slow him down. Just taking those precise pathways.
And right here, this Warlock can land in a couple of different spots. It's just pure RNG, so you have to just try to predict where the Warthog's going to land and, you know, just drive around it. Just don't lose any speed and don't bonk into it. But other than that, that's about it for this level. I don't know if you have any donations to read out, but now would be a pretty good time for a couple of donations.
We do indeed. We have a $40 donation from Halo Korea saying, Red team, best team, and I guess Hark's going to AUP?
Yeah! So...
Oh yeah, at the end of the run.
Yeah, looks like we met our incentive, so that's cool. Yeah, Halo Creation's really cool. So as we near the end of the level here, there's one little drop-off that can be a little bit tough, but it's fairly easy. We're just gonna slam our Warthog to the left side right here, and then it's gonna land perfectly without flipping. And the rest of this is just gonna drive underneath.
More driving.
Yeah, more driving. We're gonna be driving underneath a really cool vehicle though, that you don't really get to like ever like use it. Like it'd be so cool if you could use it, but darn Bungie, man. They're like, nope, the player's not allowed to use this vehicle.
Yep, and that's the end of Outskirts.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a couple guesses as to what the next level is going to be.
More driving.
More driving. Alright, Rob, I'll let you explain the start here. Oh. Rep.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So at the start here, Hark's gonna opt to take the Warthog over taking the Scorpion. And casually you would take the Scorpion across this bridge, but instead we're just gonna take the Warthog across. It's a pretty straight line. We're just gonna try to avoid bonking into any enemies.
I'm just gonna, once again, taking the straightest line that we can. A couple ghosts that can drive straight into you. I don't know why they feel the need to do that, but they do. So we're gonna try our best to avoid hitting them.
Yep, and up ahead you'll see Hark go into a tunnel, and when he gets into the tunnel, the game wants you to drive some of the way into it, but then the game was designed so you could get out of the vehicle and then progress on foot. But we're not going to do that. Hark's going to take the Warthog through those parts that you're supposed to walk through and squeeze the Warthog through a few different small sections just to go through these sections up ahead as fast as possible. It'll be a little tight, but easy enough if you practice it enough. So right here, this is where you're normally supposed to get out of the Warthog.
Alright, there's one more tough corner here to get around, but yeah, we made it.
Okay, so in this next area, as you see as Hark relieves the tunnel, you'll notice a Scarab spawn in the background. and there's a potential soft lock that can happen. So basically, there's a minute and about a minute and 14 seconds since that Scarab spawns, where we want to get into the building. And if we don't get into the building by that point, then there's about an 8-second cycle in between where the Scarab will actually deload, and you can't progress the game. So the only way is to beat it is either to be faster or to be slower.
And we're gonna try to be faster
There are a
here.
number of Marines trapped in that building.
So we're gonna get out here, and we're gonna throw a nade at the same time that we enter the Wraith, and it's actually gonna... So normally if you board a Wraith and you melee the Wraith a couple times, the game will give you an option to place a nade right on the driver that will insta-kill him. But unfortunately, for Bungie, we actually decided to do that a little bit early, and we just throw the nade at the exact same frame that we enter the Wraith, and it'll skip the whole process of having to melee the Wraith entirely. And we can get into the Wraith super fast, and it allows us to beat them in 1 minute 14 seconds. So at the start, or well, at the top right here, I blew up that Scorpion tank because there's an in-game cinematic where the Scorpion shoots at the Scarab, and the Scarab's like, oh no, you're not allowed to do that, and then shoots back at the tank and destroys it, which is a little bit slow, so we opt to destroy the tank early instead. And coming up here in a minute, the Scarab has some really wonky gravity involved with its legs going up and down, so we're going to use that to our advantage to get on top of the Scarab just a little bit earlier than you're supposed to. Just like that. And we call that moon jump, because it's like you're jumping on the moon with all the reduced gravity effects.
The gravity. Yeah, normally you're supposed to go through the building and meet the Scarab on the other end and jump onto the Scarab from these bridges, but it's quicker to get on it this way.
Yeah, there are multiple methods to that strat. There's the moon jump, there's a nade jump up, and on the classic version of the game, you can do what's called the super bounce up to the Scarab.
And with that, we end Metropolis, and we're gonna head into Arbiter, which kind of is to a lot of runners like the start of the run, because this is where we get into like the bread and butter of Halo 2 and why a lot of people started running the game. And I'll let Rep explain that.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, as Hark said, it's the bread and butter of Halo 2. The sword basically unlocks a bunch of cool movement tech, like, first I'll explain sword canceling. So similar to melee cancels, you can cancel the momentum of a lunge, and this can give you a ton of speed, and it's way stronger than a melee cancel is. And depending on how far away from the target you are, you'll get more speed or not. And sword flies are pretty much can be imagined as a long distance sword launch. So basically what we're doing is we're swapping the reticle from one weapon into the sword to actually give us the ability to go basically anywhere we want as long as there's an enemy around at very high speeds.
Yeah, and that's going to be used quite a bit throughout the run. Another one is going to be coming up here as we hop off this elevator. And once we get off this elevator, we're going to press a button, and it's going to start a little wave fight where we have to kill a lot of sentinels, and just try to get through it as fast as we can. Alright, so we're going to pick up the sentinel beam here, and we're going to kill there's like 7 sentinels. So we're going to be looking at all these tubes, and we're going to try to predict the spawns of where the sentinels are spawning at.
Yep, sometimes they can get stuck in the tube.
Okay, I think... Oh, okay, this guy is blocking the last sentinel. There we go. I think that should be the last sentinel. And now a couple of fuel rod grunts will spawn, and we're just going to take them out as quick as we can. And now we're going to get onto the movement section of this level, where we just do lots of sword flies and cancels. Oh, maybe not quite yet. Oh, there we go. Alright, so there was probably like a drone or something hiding somewhere in the back corners that I couldn't see. So thankfully though, my allies got them.
Yep, and Hark is just utilizing the sword flies and the cancels wherever he can to speed up just movement throughout these hallways. hallways can be kind of tricky sometimes because you don't want to bonk into anything and get caught. Or, you know, the enemies can walk in certain directions or spawn in certain ways. And you just kind of have to adapt on the fly once again to what spawns you get and what angles you can take.
And that's a really cool cancel right there. But we're gonna try to hit a swordfly right here to get ourselves into this door just a little bit earlier. And this room is known as a 50-50 door room because there's 2 doors and each one has an equal chance of opening. So it's just RNG as to which one opens first. So unfortunately we didn't quite get the door we wanted, but that's okay. It happens. Alright, so normally this area is a section where it's all this like big old mystery of like where did the heretic leader go, so you are supposed to follow your ally Phantom and, you know, just go all throughout the map searching for the heretic leader, but we kind of mind read the heretic and, you know, we knew where he went, so we just went straight there. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, his end position never changes, so you can just skip right to the end and go to where the heretic is hiding and not have to do like the whole escort part of the mission.
Alright, and this would be Oracle, and it's one of the cooler levels of the game, and it's also the longest one of the game.
Yep, Hark's gonna go for a dialogue skip here, so we're gonna be quiet for a second so he can hear it.
Unfortunately, I'm actually not going to be able to go for it because one of my grunts survived at the start.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, like, there was a chance for him to come forward quickly enough for me to get him, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. So what Hark was trying to do there was, if you exit that room at a certain time when the heretic leader hologram spawns, it actually desyncs his dialogue for whatever reason, and it saves about 7 seconds.
Alright, right, I'll let you explain a popcorn room fight.
Alright, so here there's going to be 4 waves of popcorn that spawn on the outside tubes, 2 waves of, well, infection forms, as we call them popcorn, 2 beneath them, 2 more waves on the outside tubes, 2 more beneath them, and then 1 final wave, and you need to kill about 3 in that final wave to actually progress and open the door.
Oh, back.
These spawns are random. Except for the ones in the bottom. Those ones are pretty consistent. Like, where they're located.
Alright, and now we have entered the infamous Oracle Elevator. So, this is a complete auto-scroller. There's a death plane at the bottom of this room that is loaded in right now, and it prevents us from just dropping down to the bottom and skipping this room. So we're gonna have to unfortunately wait the 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, lots of people have looked for a skip for this elevator, but nothing has been found in solo. However, in co-op, we've actually managed to use the arbitrary unit possession trick to skip this elevator, which is very cool. And it's knocked off like 2 minutes off the run.
Yep, hopefully we can find a way to do it in solo.
Yeah, I still think that there's hope for it. I think there's still a bounty for it for whoever finds it in solo, but that's for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while this elevator's going down, do you mind if I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. We have a $10.50 donation from Peprahos. I apologize if I butchered your name there. Says, good luck, mine man. You'll do lovely. And we also have a $100 donation from Anonymous saying, thank you for all that you do. Thank you very much for your donations. And if you are watching this run after the event is finished and you're watching this on YouTube or as a Twitch VOD, you can still donate and support Save the Children by donating through our Tiltify campaign using the links below the video. Any and all support is much appreciated.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That we just got a $100 donation. That's very awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Alright, this elevator is nearing an end right here. It's about to start up its final rotation. And then like 4 sentinels will come up, and then I'm gonna wait for one of these little boxes to come up, and then I'll know that it's safe to drop down. That's when the game has removed the death plane.
You can see the box coming up right now.
Next is one of the bigger combat sections in the run. One of the more technical, rather.
Ooh, I got the double jump. Let's go.
Yeah, so once Hark enters that fight here, what he's going to try to do is...
Oh,
Oh, poor.
what's he gonna do?
Man, he's having some problems today. Alright. I'm about to drop down here, and then I'll try to explain it.
Yep, so Hark just got the visual cue, knowing now that he can drop down. Looks like a long fall, but you can make it safely.
Alright, so right here, I'm gonna come into this room and I'm gonna kill the 3 Covenant first. And then I'm going to kill 4 Flood. That should be all spawned in. There should be one more, and I see him. Oh, I have to prepare myself for a jump right here. And now I have to kill 3 Heretic Elites, and now I have to kill 4 more Flood. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So after I kill that last guy, which is at 5:39 on my timer, the level is now on a 1-minute timer until we can progress the level. So for the longest time, we couldn't figure out why you know, sometimes we would like kill some Flood and like the door open and sometimes it wouldn't. But I think it was a guy called Nibre, and he went into the game scripts and he found that there was a 1-minute timer that starts after you kill a very specific set of enemies in a specific set of order. And so now we 100% we know how this room works, and we can make it fast every time. So right here.
Yeah, go for it.
So as we're coming up to the end here, we're gonna kill the 4 Flood, and I think there's one that might be hiding. So I'm gonna have to go look for him. Alright, so that's 2, 3. There should be one more, probably. Oh! Wait, he's shooting at me. Where is he? Oh, he's right there. There he is. All right.
Yeah, they can get stuck.
Alright, so right here, I'm gonna kill these 5 enemies right here, just make sure the door closes as fast as possible. And, you'll... Oh! Okay, I'm getting a little bit rigged in this room. There we go, the door's gonna close and it's gonna shut. And that's the end of Lab Fight. Probably the most annoying part of the level is done, and now the rest of this mission is lots of fun, in my opinion. So right here, we're gonna try to kill a couple grunts to try to get a couple spawns on this ramp right here. Unfortunately, they didn't die quick enough, so I didn't get any, but it's only about a 4-second time save. So that's fine. So coming up in the next room, there's another clear where we have to kill 3 sentinels and 4 Flood. And I'm actually gonna start it out by killing 3 sentinels, and that's gonna make the Flood be all like, ooh, there's only 1 target left, let's get him. So it makes it very easy to kill these guys. And that's the clear.
Yep, they'll all
right there.
charge you.
Warriors, return to the landing zone. The Arbiter will
And right here in a moment, we're going to be doing one of my favorite tricks in the entire run. So normally the game wants to do you ride this elevator all the way up, and it's kind of slow, but we're going to have the elevator crush us, and it's going to send us all the way up here very fast. And it saves a lot of time. And it also has a cool side effect of making you invincible for the rest of the entire level. Whenever they were designing this, they said, well, sometimes I guess the player can die when they're riding up the elevator. My guess is it was probably due to like splatter damage that was killing them. So they just have a flag set whenever you press the elevator button. But since the elevator never traveled all the way up because we had it come back down, that flag of invincibility is never removed. So that's very cool. So we've destroyed the final cable here, and now we're gonna wait just a little bit, and then we're gonna drop down here. And if we don't drop down at the right time, the gravity for the rest of the level can get very bad. So we have to drop out a decent amount of time, so the gravity is bearable for us to be able to move with. I'm gonna see here if I can get across this gap in a timely fashion. It looks like I'm gonna have to walk. I didn't get the spawns that I would normally want to get. So we're just gonna walk in here. And right here, the developer decided to have to put two cutscenes within like 9 seconds of each other for some reason. I guess they have some problems cutting together those two sections. And we're actually going to kill 2 enemies right there so we can get a couple spawns that we can use the sword fly off of.
Yep, killing those enemies kind of manipulate these spawns over here so you can get this nice fly.
Yeah. So right now we're just backtracking through the level Arbiter, which Kayla can explain a little bit to you.
Yeah, like a classic Bungie thing that they do in like all the Halo games is they take one level and then they come back to it later, except you play it in reverse. So that's what we're kind of doing right now. You'll recognize these hallways. We were going down them earlier on Arbiter, but now we're going back up them in Oracle. But the same things still apply when he's trying to go through these hallways, like canceling and sword flying. You just want to adapt to the situation around you. Try not to hit too many corners.
And right here, we're actually at the first boss fight of the game, and it's done.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very interesting boss fight right there. Very, very cool.
Yep, that was the first of 3 you'll see throughout the run, and they're all pretty easy.
Yeah.
There's only really one that can kill you.
Halo's a little bit infamous for having super easy boss battles. Alright.
So right off the start here, Harc is going to do a rocket jump up onto the little ledge to skip some running. But we're on to Delta Halo now, which is like the classic Halo level. You know, you're on a Halo ring, you're moving through all these ancient structures, there's this temple out in the water, big cool landscapes, and Harc's going to skip a lot of that in the nature of speedrunning. And right now he's just making his way through the level normally. Nothing's too cool yet, but in a little bit he'll be doing some out of maps with the ghosts and whatnot. So he's just going to keep doing some slide jumps until he reaches the bridge section, which is the first like building section of the game, or the level, I should say. And normally with the bridge, they're raising the bridge up so you can't cross the gap. And the game wants you to go into the building, fight some elites, press the button to lower the bridge so you can cross. But that's kind of slow, so Harc's gonna take one of these ghosts up ahead and do a fancy grenade jump across the, or just jump across the gap with the grenade and the ghost.
Watch out, Chief. Wraiths on the far side.
And you got it.
And you got it.
Yeah, it's a lot easier on this version of the game compared to the original version on the original Xbox, but it can still give you some trouble sometimes if you mess up the grenade placement by, just by a couple inches. And right here, I'm actually gonna hit a trigger here. Oh, attempt to hit a trigger here on this ramp. So I can go out of bounds, so I don't have to go through all the chaos that's inside the map. And we're gonna just travel to the end. And it's a little bit faster than going inbounds anyways, but it also avoids all the chaos because there's like, I think like there can be up to like 8 ghosts that spawn. They all really like to run into you and flip you over, so we don't like doing that. We don't like dealing with that.
Yeah, Hark wants to be pretty careful with the driving here. It looks easy, like you're just going along a wall, but if you flip or tumble off the edge, it can be really devastating to a run.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take this last part right here a little bit safe. This is probably the hardest part of the run if you're trying to go, or hardest part of this level if you're trying to go super fast. Oh, and I still messed it up. So you need to manage your boost pretty good, you don't fall all the way down, but you still hit that trigger, that letterbox that says off the rock plus onto the jackal. But thankfully, I have a backup right here, so it's not too much of a time loss. It's about 15 seconds, but yeah, it's pretty manageable. And now we're just gonna drop down here, and we're gonna just go down to the bottom here, enter this building, and we're gonna kill 2 elites inside this building.
He's gonna jump up to the sledge in order to avoid another set of 2 spawns.
I'm going to pick up the sword right here because this is going to be very useful for the next level. And now we are on to regret. All I can say is this level can either go really good or really, really bad. So right here, I'm going to pick up that beam rifle, and that's going to be used to clear out some enemies later on. I'm actually going to do a grenade jump to the middle here, and then I'm going to do a sword cancel onto this gondola. And you're not supposed to get on the gondola this early. You're supposed to go through all the buildings, and you're supposed to wait for the other gondola that's currently coming down to come over, which is like what, like 3 or 4 minutes at least. But we just say, hey, we want to get on this gondola instead. I'm actually dealing a checkpoint right now into a very specific point to make this phantom spawn. And if I did the delaying correctly, this phantom right here will actually land right in the middle, and it'll actually despawn, and it'll cause a cool glitch to be, to be done. So I'm actually gonna remove one side of my headphones right here so I can listen to see if we get the dialogue cue. Oh, I did not quite get
it. The deload is actually exclusive to the MCC version of the game.
Got it. Yes, I did. So we're gonna press this right here, and I'll let actually Rep explain this trick as I'm setting it up.
Yeah, so what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to kill the last enemy on this gondola at a certain time frame and stand in a very particular spot. And if he does it correctly, the gondolas will actually move back to their original positions and send him at a high velocity straight to the tower.
Oh boy, there's still something alive. Alright, I'm gonna need a revert here. I didn't kill the enemies correctly. We're gonna...
Unfortunate.
Yeah, we're gonna keep trying it until we get it, because this is a very cool trick and I really want to show it off.
Yeah, normally you want that phantom to deload, but if it doesn't the backup strat is to kill the hunters as they come out of it, to still set up the potential for the launch.
Yeah, you only have like a very small time frame in order to kill these hunters if you want the trick to work. Unfortunately, you're trying to snipe. You're trying to use a weapon that's made for like kind of long range, but not as long range as this. Like maybe like 100 meters, and yet we're trying to snipe some enemies that are like 400 meters away, and it's very, very precise because there's only like a couple pixels that work for getting this. Man, I'm having I'm having a really tough time getting this right now. If I don't get this by in the next 2 attempts, then I may have to just go on ahead with the run. Which will be a little bit unfortunate because this is a really cool trick. Okay, I think I got it again. I got it on the right cycle.
Cortana,
And I did.
the Covenant's getting nosy. I don't want to give away my position, so I'm rerouting a few stragglers back to you.
There we go.
I apologize. These Pelicans are all the support you're going to
Either built this way on purpose or was created by some
Understood now.
Nope.
This should work.
Trying to kill something?
And it did.
Nice.
Nice.
So that only saved, like, in an actual attempt, that only saves about 30 seconds or so. A little bit less, but I actually lost quite a bit of time to going for it, but I really wanted to show it off because it's such a cool trick. But yeah, I just didn't get the deload. If I got the deload, I would have been able to do it a lot easier. But it's a little bit random as to whether or not you get the deload.
Yeah, the only way to truly ensure it is to actually just delay the checkpoint fully to where you don't get it, and that's really dangerous. Because if you fail it, then it's all the way back to the start.
Alright, so now we've entered a gondola, and we actually have about a minute or so for donations, if we have any.
What I'd like to do is take this time just to shout out our sponsor for this event, which is Upper Room Games. Upper Room Games have launched a new game called Wavy the Rocket. It's currently 25% off on the Humble store for the duration of the marathon, so it will finish at the end of the marathon. They're also donating $10 to charity for every person that managed to beat 60-minute speedrun and uploads a run to speedrun.com. So check out their game. There's also a giveaway happening on the ESA Twitter right now. Do check that out if you get a chance. And a big thank you to Upper Room Games.
Such bad intel about his enemy's homeworld.
Alright. Alright, so this gondola ride is just about over, and we're gonna be doing lots of sword fights in this next section. This is a pretty rapid fire section if you can get all the flies down.
Arc's gonna be doing some things to like force enemies to be in particular positions. Or we'll try to get them in certain positions anyway.
We're gonna see if we have a jackal here. Unfortunately we don't, but we're gonna go for the Dubso strat here. Where we just do a little cancel off of there.
The hunter was freaking out.
He was having a good time. Alright, yeah, that section went pretty good. And now we're back at it with another gondola. But I showed off a little bit right there, and I exited the gondola. But it's okay, because the game has a failsafe for this somehow. And it just teleports you in. Very interesting that there's actually a failsafe for that scenario. But hey, it allows us to be cool.
Your haste has jeopardized the fulfillment of our covenant, threatened our grand design.
That's a
That you should
checkpoint.
be spared a public display
That doesn't
of
happen
our
very
contempt
often.
is thanks only to Mercy and his wise counsel. Truth, mercy, regret. Three
Alright, Rep,
prophet
I'll
prayers.
let you explain what's
Feeling regret
coming up
shaped
here.
the covenant leadership. The
Yeah, it's actually one. This trick will be used a couple more times later, but this is like first instance of it. So here he's gonna kill an honor guard elite just for his plasma rifle in order to use it for something later. So after he gets outside, he's gonna try to lure a drone onto a rock so he can get underneath of it. And basically, what he's gonna try to do, he's gonna try to get the drone on his head, and then, for whatever reason, by rapidly jumping, meleeing, and swapping your weapons, you can actually gain a ton of speed. It's known as butterflying. It's been known in the community for probably since the early days of Halo 2 in multiplayer, but it was never theorized to be used in actual runs until fairly recently, in the last couple of years. It's really weird to see it. It's the first time if you've ever seen this trick before. Because originally we thought that only the top layer could jump in order for the trick to actually work, but it also turns out that the bottom one can also jump and achieve the same effect.
Yep, right now, Hark is traveling across like a lake to a temple. Normally you take a gondola across versus flying with a drone like this. So you might be wondering how he knows where he's going, because all he's doing is looking at a drone. But he has some visual cues in the background, like the halo ring, and these beams that are coming up from the towers, and you can kind of figure out where he's going from there. But ultimately, when he gets to this temple, he's going to slowly lower himself into a cutscene trigger and then proceed with the rest of the level.
Interestingly enough, Hark is actually the first runner to land both of these butterflies in a run on regret.
Alright, I did overshoot a little bit, but that's okay. Oh. Alright. I'm gonna need to be a little bit safe here. Alright. We've almost landed it. It's almost there. Alright, and that's the butterfly.
Nicely done.
Yeah. A little bit of a slow example of it, but I did want to show off a lot of the cool tricks that are done in the run.
Multiple waves of phantoms.
And now right here is
We don't have much time.
the second boss battle of the game. We're just gonna board him, punch him a few times, and that'll be it.
Yep, another very difficult boss.
The phantoms are turning
Yep,
around.
very
They're
difficult.
Fire on our position. We need to get out of here.
And that was
Yep,
regret.
so now we're just on a timer.
Actually, not too bad considering like I lost like over a minute at the start.
But you got the launch.
Yep, I got the launch. I got to show it off. I could show off the cool trick, so I'm happy. Alright, starting off this level, I'm actually gonna shoot this tube open, and there's two ways to open up the tube. One of them is by shooting it like I did, and the other one's to go up and press a button, which is probably the way that most people who first played this game opened up the tubes. But yeah, you can just shoot them open, and it saves a little bit of time, so we do that instead. We're also going to use those little sentinel emitters to boost us, and like another, I think there's like another 2 launches that you can do in the level. But yeah.
Yep, there's a lot of walking on this level, so any little speed ups you can do will save a lot of time in the end.
Yeah, so we're just gonna try to walk in the straightest line as we can. Try to reduce strafing wherever we can, but also, you know, like I said, we do have to open up these tubes, so some strafing is necessary to get every once in a while. I'll let Rep explain this.
So here, Hark's just gonna shoot 3 of these, they're called plug locks, and then just press the button on the last one, which will cause the button in the center to activate the gondola to appear. In about 5 seconds after he presses the button, everything in the room will actually just die for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that works. Probably more magical Arbiter powers. Just like being able to find the heretic leader quickly on the Arbiter.
Yeah, just threatens them telepathically and they just all blow up.
And now, once again, we're on another gondola. But there's a lot of them in this game. It's pretty cool.
Cool is one way to put it, I suppose.
So here, Hark's gonna be killing this enforcer that spawns. It's required to kill this guy for the next door to open, so he's gonna try to kill him as fast as possible.
There we go. And now the door's open and we can go on through. And now it's going to be a little bit more movement, but now there's a new enemy. They're called the Flood, who we met in the last Halo game. And now they're back and they're, well, I guess we met them a little bit on Oracle. I always forget that. I always forget that they're on that level.
Yeah, you don't see them for very long.
Nah.
You'll see Hark picked up another shotgun to do some shotgun boosts where he can. Once again, like on Cairo.
Each saves a couple of seconds, depending on how good it is, obviously.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a plasma rifle or a plasma grenade, so I won't be able to go for that last sentinel boost right there. But it's okay, because we have shotgun boosts to entertain us.
Yeah, in this section, Hark is going to shoot the ground a few times. You'll see him just like shooting his plasma rifle into the floor. He's going to be trying to lure some enemies into specific areas so he can do some more boosts.
Or at least attempt to.
Oh. Yep.
It can be a little bit difficult to get the enemies to do what you want. That one right there is a manipulation I still haven't completely 100% gotten down. But that one can be like very consistent. I'm just a little bit bad at it. So you'll notice I picked up the Sentinel gun, and that's because it actually opens up these tubes a little bit faster than the plasma rifle would, if done optimally.
Yeah, the gold variant of these Sentinel beams actually do a bit more damage than the standard one.
So now we're gonna ride down these tubes, and these ones are a lot longer, so we can get a lot more speed in these tubes.
Yeah, it might look like he's just like sliding down the tube, but he's actually putting in button inputs to go quicker, crouching at specific positions times.
Yeah, it's actually possible to go so fast down these tubes that you can clip through the wall of these tubes, and it's a little bit bad when that happens, because in this game, you can't survive in like true out of bounds, like outside map geometry. The game has a failsafe where it kills you. But yeah. There we go.
Hark got a good swan here. Yeah, so up ahead is the wave fight. First, before the wave fight starts, though, he has to kill the 5 flood that spawn in this area. You want to kill them as fast as you can, because occasionally reinforcements from the previous area will show up, and it's kind of confusing to tell which one is which. As long as he gets a dialogue line from Tapjaw here, and that one.
I really want a battle rifle. Battle rifle is the best weapon you can get for this fight.
Yeah, so here there's going to be 2 waves, and each wave consists of 2 to 4 to 6 flood spawns. On easy, it's entirely RNG what ones you'll get.
Where are they spawning?
There we go.
Yeah, this is another one of the sections of the game where you gotta be looking around constantly, thinking on the fly of where, if they're not spawning where you're looking, where could they be spawning? Just adapt to the situation around you.
Alright, so that's the end of the fight for the most part. We're just waiting for this Phantom to come in. The game has a little check to see if the area is safe. Like, if your allies are shooting at stuff, they'll delay the mission ending. So you just want to make sure that everything's all cleared out. And then, with a little luck, the level will end.
Yeah, the ending's a little weird.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna need to focus on this, so I'll let you explain the driving here.
Okay. So here Hark's grabbing the ghost at the start, and similar to earlier on Outskirts, he's just going to be trying to take the best possible pathing and holding A to turn around corners faster, stopping to boost, and just knowing when not to boost and when to boost is really important. So here he's going to actually try to get across this gap here to save a bit of time over going to the left. He's going to do something similar in the next area, but that one's a bit more time save. Skips a larger portion of the game wants you to drive over to the left and whatnot.
But we can just do that.
Yeah. And as is Halo's tradition, we're going to get vehicles where we shouldn't. So Hark's going to try to get around this debris here. It's really easy to get this ghost in here. It allows us to go pretty quick through this Sentinel factory. He's going to try to make sure he hits a couple of triggers here. If you don't hit these triggers, then the game will actually soft lock, and you can't progress unless you backtrack and actually hit those triggers. Yeah, the enforcers can be kind of mean too. They actually have like a insta-kill mechanic where if they pick you up, and they'll just crush you.
Yeah, very annoying when that happens, but thankfully we came up with the path to where that doesn't happen too much, so that's very good. Oh, I think I've been boarded.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying when that happens. The flood can board you at any point, and it's really annoying.
Alright, we got the race spawn, we're good.
That wraith spawn signifies that he hit all the triggers that are necessary, so we can head straight to the gondola.
Warthogs didn't troll you.
Yeah, I didn't have camo right there, so I had to just roll with it.
Yeah, so Hark's coming up on the end of the vehicle portion of this level. And surprise, surprise, we got another gondola. It is the final gondola of the game, but it's also the longest one. It's about 5 minutes of auto-scrolling. But what Hark is going to do is he's going to kill his friendlies right off the bat, because at the end of the ride, he's going to want to do a sword fly. And to have the sword fly set up, he needs enemies on the gondola with him, so he can't have his allies killing them. So he just kills them right away. And then Hark's going to go up to this top portion where he's basically going to be safe the entire ride. The enemies can't really see him up there. They won't aggro to him. They won't kill him. They won't really do anything to him up in this spot he's about to drop into.
And they can't really shoot at me even if they wanted to, because technically I'm inside geometry, but it's a different kind of geometry. It's like, oh man, what was the word for it? I think Bungie described it as a moving BSP, and it's, if you're inside this kind of geometry, then the game will kill you, which is real nice for us. We're gonna line up.
But yeah. This is a pretty long section. I think because our incentive was met for AUP, we have a little bit of time to talk about what that is and what you can expect from that. So I will let Hark take it away with AUP.
Alright, so AUP, which stands for Arbitrary Unit Possession, is a new glitch that was discovered about 7 months ago, and it allows us to take control of any biped or vehicle in the entire game without using mods at all. And it's actually done using an exploit with the respawn system. So every single object that's spawned in the level has what we call a assault and index, and they're all stored in a fixed pool array where things, you know, can like be grabbed and put back in, you know, if things are despawning. And they're actually made up of numbers and stuff, obviously. And so what we do is we do something called pinching our spawn, which is where we get into a very small section and we kill our partner, and the space is actually too small to allow him to completely respawn, but the game kind of like pre-spawns him. It puts like a solid entity at a area in the map that we call the default location, and it's where players are stashed during cutscenes and the sort, and they're actually in like a very weird kind of like invisible state. But if you restart in that process, the game remembers that you were trying to respawn with the assault and index of wherever it was that you were. So what we can do from then is we can kill our partner and spawn something else in with the exact assault and index that the game was expecting us to respawn beforehand. And the game remembers that data before and it says, oh, well, we already have a biped here waiting for this co-op partner, so let's put him in that. And then it hijacks that biped or vehicle that we placed in memory. So we're actually, I'm actually really excited to show this off because it's led to some very cool co-op speedrun innovations where we can take control of a Phantom, and it's like the fastest vehicle in the entire game. So we can literally like shave off like 2 minutes off of entire levels using the trick. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of it. We have about another minute or so before I do the sword fly, so if there's like any donations or anything, now would be a good time for that.
We've got nothing in at the moment, but we're currently sitting at $20,349. Bet we could hit a nice easy target of 20,500. We're only $151. Had to do quick math there. Should have did that in advance. But yeah, do know that all your donations are going towards Save the Children's Corona Relief Fund here. And just to let you know, some of the things that Save the Children do, they make sure that children can keep learning when schools are closed due to the current coronavirus pandemic. And they also make sure that children can keep playing despite lockdowns and other social distancing measures. They create virtual solutions and share ideas on how to keep kids active. The other thing they also do is that they're strengthening safety nets for families that are in need. They provide essential items like food, soap, other cleaning utilities, and they're also giving cash grants to struggling families to buy crucial supplies for their children. All your donations are going to this fantastic cause. Do please keep them coming in.
Alright.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. I just said sword fly at the end there, and it saves about 25 seconds of walking. So pretty decent skip at the end there. It's a little bit scary because if you mess it up, then you have to revert it back an entire minute and a half because games are pretty mean about checkpoints. Alright, so we're about to come into one of the hardest levels of the game. I'll let Rep take this one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most difficult. So here at the start, he's going to kill these two grunts and these two brutes. And then he's going to stay in a very particular spot.
Okay.
Brute's trolling you.
Yeah, lost quite a bit of
Neither is
time
bad,
there.
Web.
Seal the exits.
So yeah, here Hark's going to stand in a very particular spot. To So basically there are like 2 trigger volumes in this room, and at certain parts of the room they intersect, and at those positions, basically the game doesn't check for Chief. So if you stand in that spot, the game is like, oh, well, I guess Chief's not here, so we're not going to spawn the wave. So that allows you to skip a wave here. And afterwards, your brutes will come up this elevator. He'll kill those 2, and then another carbine guy will spawn in these rafters somewhere. He can spawn in like 1 of 6 positions.
Thankfully, I found him pretty quick. So that was a pretty quick first ring.
Yeah, that final brute can, like Rep mentioned, spawn in a lot of locations and really take some time to find if he's not shooting at you. Harc's going to start moving through the level. You'll see some more melee cancels off the grunts, and then up through this next doorway, he'll try to get one off the brute as well.
Oh, he's moving back. He doesn't like that.
He was not having it there. No problem, though. So Harc's going to kind of jump off this ledge or fall off it onto this pillar that's sticking out just to skip the lift. And then he's going to pick up a beam rifle off the jackal, which he'll use later for sword flying. And then just continue along the hallways. But coming up is a huge skip in the game. It's known as Prison Skip. And it shaves multiple minutes off this level. And we'll talk about it more once he gets there, but up ahead in this next room, he's going to slow down to get a checkpoint. Just to set up that trick, because it can be pretty difficult.
Yeah, and the last checkpoint before this trick is like a minute or so back.
Okay, this scrun is not having it right now. Here we go.
So here Harc's gonna try to he's gonna try to lure these brutes into punching him into the lift.
That was not good. You only want one of them to come forward at a time, otherwise it messes up the trick.
Here, Chief, jump in.
So, very similar to the Regret Butterfly. Basically what he's gonna try to do here is he's gonna hit a certain trigger in this tube. And then he's gonna alternate between B and A, melee and jump, and then X to cancel it.
Here, Chief, jump
And that'll allow him to actually go back up the lift. And at some point the lift will reverse gravity and allow him to just skip the entirety of the prison section. Excuse me.
Alright, this should work.
Yep, normally you go down this lift, free a bunch of Marines, kill a bunch of enemies, then go back up the lift. What Harc is doing here is, hopefully...
I'm getting stacked right now. This is really unfortunate RNG, but it's still going to end up saving time because this is like a 3-minute time save, but unfortunately you really need to just get lucky. If too many enemies get on top at one time, then it amplifies the mass, and you can mash out of it, but it's very, very difficult.
Yep, so once again he hit that trigger, and now he's meleeing his way back up to try to get out of the tube. And he got it.
There we go.
That's prison. Here it's just a bunch of just sword cancels and sword flies to the next couple of areas. Really some of the most some of the coolest looking movement in the game. The one off the jackal in this next area is actually pretty big.
Nice.
Alright.
Here's gonna be looking for a jackal spawn to try to fly to. Just save a bit of time. This fly, a lot of runners called lag fly actually, because in the original version of the game, it lags like really heavily in this area.
Yeah, the frame rate drops to like basically 0. It's really bad.
At this moment, counselors gather on
Halo. He's gonna be doing a technique known as a crouch cancel, pretty similar to a normal cancel, but really only off these drones here. It's only used. Basically, he just crouches, and then instead of pressing A and RNX, he just uses RNX and then jumps.
Yeah, and that particular cancel was found by, I think, Dubzo?
Yeah, Dubs on that one.
Yeah. Oh boy. My jump input did not take right there. Oh!
Oh,
Went for grunt fly, but
Yeah.
didn't get it.
that fly in particular is really difficult to hit.
Yeah, I only have like a couple frames to do it, and you have to be standing in. I have been standing a little bit farther back. The reason why I went straight down is because I was standing too far forward. And it just made me go straight down. Little bit of a shame, but I don't know. Gotta go for the cool stuff at least.
Here's just some more flies. He's gonna try to fly out these brutes up the ramp. Here's another redirect fly. We haven't really talked about this, but at longer ranges, if you stand against a wall or something, you can actually redirect your fly. In this area, it's really useful because you can just go straight to the door.
Yeah, if you mess that fly up, it's a bit of a time waste. You have to walk all the way around, so it's pretty important to hit that one.
I actually could have gone for a cancel through that room right there. Oh well.
Yeah, I picked up the fuel rod for this clear at the end.
Shortcut, straight through the mausoleum. Look on the bright side. For now, they seem much more interested in...
Another fly there that saves a ton of time. Imagine walking across that whole bridge section instead of sword flying.
You might consider sitting this one out.
This is the pretty infamous "Blow Me Away" fight, you know, with the Breaking Benjamin song. Here he's gonna try to kill enemies in a particular order again to skip a wave. First these 3 ultra elites, then the 2 hunters that spawn, and then clean up the rest of the stuff. Brutes and sometimes Jones if they don't fly up high enough. That'll skip a wave of another brute spawns.
Almost got trolled there by the hunter. The body like flipped up, and like if I would have shot like just a little bit later, I would have died.
I saw that. I thought he was still alive, like swinging at you.
That's the Gravemind.
Yep.
Yeah, lost a little bit of time to prison skip, but that's prison skip. It can be a bad trick sometimes.
Yeah, I think you got prison skip, what, 3rd try?
3rd or 4th.
Not too bad.
Yeah, like, I pretty much had him, like, pretty much every time I could have gone from the bottom, but I kind of wanted my hands to be intact, so that's why I kept on reverting.
So these next few levels are going to be pretty rapid fire. They're the quickest levels in the game. On Uprising, there's going to be a lot of, you guessed it, sword movement, cancels and flies and whatnot. But it's a really quick level.
Yeah, for the longest time, at least from what I could see it, like, this was, like, the most trick-heavy level in, like, the entire game. Like, this was, like, the level that I knew, at least, for, like, sword flying and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a really fun level to get into if you want to get into Halo 2 speedrunning. I remember this was the first level I tried to speedrun, because it was so many tricks. It's very quick. It's a very restart-friendly level.
Funnily enough, this is the first level in Halo Run's history to actually go below a minute.
Yeah. That was a very historic moment.
Hark is setting up a fly here, hopefully. Could be a bit tricky. But he got it. So now that Hark's up on top of these rocks, he's going to be running across these rocks for a little bit, and then he'll crouch on this one little ledge. And crouching there, he'll hit a cutscene trigger that's extended way up in the air past where it should be, and it'll end level much sooner than doing the normal playthrough. There it is.
And that is the end of Uprising. Yeah, that trigger, like, you're supposed to hit that cutscene from, like, so far below, and, like, for some reason, like, the developers just made that trigger so high for some reason. Right.
So, onto High Charity. You're going to see a another butterfly strat, similar to the one on Regret with the drone, except this time we're going to be using a flood.
Oh.
And what Harc is doing to set it up is he's going to run over to the Pelican area-ish and then lure a flood over. He's going to shoot off his arms.
Hopefully we're not going to get headshot multipliers. There
Yeah,
we go.
you don't want to kill him. And he's going to bring him over to the edge of this platform, up onto this part that's kind of sticking out. He's going to lure him over to it, and then once the flood's on this part, he kind of loses his pathing, and you can just push him to the edge. And he's going to push him off the edge a little bit to set up the butterfly. And now he's butterflying. The thing about this level is you're normally supposed to go into the tower and go across all these lifts and fight a bunch of enemies and do all this stuff. But funny enough, the end cutscene trigger is actually loaded at the beginning of the mission. It's just way down lower on the tower. So what Harc is doing is he's going to use the butterfly to fly down to that trigger and end the mission instantly without even ever having to leave the beginning of the mission. It's a bit easier to see where you're going on this one since you're right next to a tower. You can kind of get an idea of where you're at in relation to everything.
And this is actually the one level where the new remastered graphics actually come in handy, because whenever you're dropping down into the trigger, it extends out far from the tower, but it's actually pretty thin. Like, it's about the size of like 2 players in length. So we're actually going to use new graphics so we can see exactly when we're lined up in the middle, right here. Now we're going to stop, and now we're going to lower ourselves into the trigger. And that's it. That's High Charity Skip.
So, funnily enough, when you actually land the trick, you actually die once you enter the cutscene. So, in most situations, it would just send you back to the last checkpoint. But for some reason, this specific cutscene actually just allows you to complete the level.
Yeah. And now we're heading on to the last level of the game. So we're nearing the end here.
Yep, Harc's gonna grab this Spectre, and then take it and try to grab a ghost. Sometimes these ghosts up ahead can really mess with you and run away, so hopefully they won't run away too much. You got it pretty quickly there.
Yeah, that was good.
So up ahead, Harc's going to have to take out 2 Wraiths. He's going to do the camo strat, which allows him to get to the Wraith without being detected, obviously. He's going to do the quick board technique like you saw in Metropolis.
Oh, I'm being trolled.
Not on the second one.
Hopefully I don't die here. I'm actually going to camo. I'm going to mess up my camo cycle a little bit, but I'm going to have to do it.
Yep, and so you have to kill those Wraiths to progress into the inside portion. And once again, taking a vehicle where you're not supposed to take it, but the ghost fits pretty well through the hallways. Normally Harc would camo there, but because he messed up his camo cycle, it wasn't recharged in time. And now this room can be pretty annoying. If you get knocked off here, you're falling to a pit and you're gonna die. So there's a lot of strategies through this room. And Harc took that strategy of exploding the fusion coils to launch himself across the room. But there are a lot of different ways through it.
Well, I'm getting brute shotted a lot here. Those brutes in that room are really obnoxious, and oh man, it's just really annoying to deal with them sometimes.
So, interestingly enough, by killing a couple of jackals in that bridge, it allowed these drones spawn, which allows you to progress a little bit faster. Here, Harc's going to be clearing out 3 brutes to progress the level. These guys can be really trolly.
Oh, that's not enough. I thought that was all 3. Okay. Alright. Well, I think I had to kill 4 there. I'm gonna have to go back at some point and check that, but I'm pretty sure I had to kill 4 there. Alright, so right here, I'm just gonna kill these brutes as fast as I can. And we're gonna hope he doesn't shoot. Alright.
Oh, he pushed that Marine off.
Yep.
We're just gonna stand still here. I'm gonna wait for the cutscene to trigger. Sometimes it can be a little bit trolly getting that to happen, or well, getting
The cutscene
getting the cutscene to trigger, because it's very picky with what it likes and what it doesn't.
Yeah. Really similar to the end of SI.
Unfortunately, Harc didn't have any nades to do the quick board strategy here. But he wants to take out these wraiths as quickly as possible so the Scarab doesn't shoot them and start wasting time. Ideally, you want to kill the wraiths, and then the Scarab won't have time to charge up its beam to shoot, so it'll just instantly start moving along its path, which Harc got.
Yeah, very close timing there. Alright, so as we get set up for the final boss fight, we actually have about another 2 minutes. If there's any more donations or anybody you guys want to shout out.
We do. We've got a donation here. We have a $10 donation from Sean195 saying, have really enjoyed watching both Halo runs and seeing all these crazy techniques. Great job, guys. And yeah, I got to agree with them. They've done an absolutely fantastic job with these 2 Halo runs. They've been really interesting to watch. And thank you very much for your donation there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're just gonna wait for this Scarab to go ever so slowly to the end section here.
Yep, the Scarab has to make its way all the way to this tower down by the beach that Harc's about to fly over. And story-wise, Johnson is in the Scarab, and he has to break down this door to this Citadel building by shooting a beam at it and opening the door for us. But we really can't speed up the Scarab at all. We just have to wait for him to walk all the way over there and start doing his thing.
Yeah, Johnson's a very cool dude. Even though the Arbiter killed like literal billions of humans, Johnson's just like, hey, yeah, no, it's cool. We can team up and kill that brute. And that's what we're doing.
Yep.
Just having a good time. Just vibing over here.
Yeah, so once the Scarab actually gets to the beach, similar to Cairo, again, Bungie wanting you to look at certain areas, Harc's going to look at the door to try to speed up a little bit of the Scarab's walking, finishing animation where he kind of settles. And also the Scarab blast itself.
Yeah, so if you're not looking towards the door, the Scarab will shoot like six Scarab rounds into the door. But if you're looking at it, it only takes 2. And then I guess I'll let you explain the cutscene overlap.
Yeah, so once again, Bungie just made their, some of the cutscene volumes just huge. So here he just flies into the wall and ends up in the final boss. You're supposed to go through this whole temple area to get to that trigger. But by just flying into the wall, you just activate the cutscene from outside. A Legendary is actually a pretty cool strat where we get a Spectre in there. We actually clone Johnson.
Alright, and we're moving into the final boss fight of the game here. Harc's going to jump over to the platform and knock this box over out of his way so it doesn't interfere with the fight. And then he's going to camo so Tartarus doesn't see him and aggro to him. And then Tartarus is going to turn around, attack the elites. Harc's going to stun his shield, shotgun him, stun his shield, shotgun,
Alright,
and he's dead.
Time's coming up in about 6 seconds. Alright, 3, 2, 1, time.
That's Halo 2 for you.
That ending really snuck up on us there, didn't it?
Right?
Your final time there looks to be a 1 hour 24:20 time.
Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
that's like a 118 without loads. That's cool.
That's really good. Really enjoyed that run, and I'm sure Chad enjoyed it as well. You guys got any last shout outs you'd like to do?
Um,
Go for it, Hark.
I would like to shout out Mr. Monopoly and Ebre. They've been really doing some really cool stuff lately regarding this game, and they found some of the coolest tricks in the game. So, yeah, huge shout out to them.
Yep, including AUP, which I think we'll be moving to here in a second.
Yeah, donation incentive was met. So if you want to just get yourself set up for that and take it away to show us this glitch.
All right. So I wasn't 100% sure, but I only had like 5 minutes to show it off, or I just want to make sure I understand it.
I mean, you were well underestimate there, so I think you've definitely got a bit of leeway there to go for it.
All right. Give me just a moment here. The Xbox decided that I'm not actually the account that I actually signed in as, so there we go. Alright, so we're actually going to load up the level Outskirts, and I'm going to do a couple different AUPs, some of the cooler ones.
Yeah, as a refresher, we mentioned during the run, AUP is just being able to take over other bipeds in the game, you know, enemies, friendlies, vehicles, things of that nature. So that's what Hark is going to show off here.
So yeah, something to note here is like every single bullet you fire, every single grenade you drop, like pretty much every single object spawned in the session matters. So at the start right here, I'm actually gonna fire off around with my battle rifle so I can demonstrate to you. Oh wait, did not sign in? Oh, there we go. Okay, I forgot I actually did the switcheroo thing. Alright, so I'm gonna get this checkpoint. I'm gonna fire off one round. And I'm gonna get myself into a pinch spot right here. So the game cannot spawn me right now because there's not enough room. So now we're gonna wait for a checkpoint again. And this actually isn't gonna work, and it's just I just want to make sure that the point is clear that every single bullet matters. So right here, I'm gonna go in here. He spawns and he spawns normal. Nothing cool has happened. But if I take my battle rifle and fire the exact same amount of bullets as I did during the setup, and then I go forward, I'm gonna respawn as a grunt right here. Which is a character that you're never supposed to have control of, ever. And it's very cool, because you have, like, the same, like, team properties as the Covenant. So if you walk up to a Covenant soldier, they will not shoot at you, but if you walk up to a human soldier, they'll unload on you because they don't like you very much. So I'm actually gonna step off here, and I'm gonna get on the turret and, you know, just do some grunty things. As you see.
Yeah, you'll notice. Go for it.
Yeah, as you see, none of these enemies here are shooting at me, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the armor color has changed on Master Chief's hand and wrist. It's not green anymore because it's like adapting the color of the grunt to your armor as well.
So I can get on this right here and shoot, and it's pretty cool. A life of a grunt is very cool.
Yep.
And it's just, you know, they're all just chilling. But if I throw a grenade, they have a really weird animation to where they don't actually chuck the grenade. And it kind of sucks, but what can you do? So now that we've done that, we're actually going to turn ourselves into a phantom now. which is a vehicle that a lot of people have wanted to fly in the earlier Halo games, and they kind of got their wish granted in Halo Reach, but just as like a Easter egg. So right here, we need to spawn in some stuff just to make sure that the memory lines up properly. We're gonna take the sniper rifle. Just makes it a little bit easier to manage, delaying the spawn. Alright, and we're pinched, and we're gonna restart. And we're gonna do the same exact steps again.
Shake it off, Marines.
We're gonna take the sniper rifle. And, oh, I did mention this on the first one, but we're actually blocking this off because we want to make sure that the Marines don't get past with ours. They'll fire bullets at the grunt, and the memory will be off, so we don't want that to happen. So now I'm going to kill this guy. And I'm going to run on forward and wait for the Phantom to spawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's right up there in that corner. And as soon as I get safe, the same Phantom will be right here, and my player will be controlling it in first person because we're not taking control of a biped flying the vehicle. We actually have spawned ourselves as the vehicle. And it's a bit of a weird concept, but basically vehicles and bipeds are classified as units, and they can exist like on their own, I guess.
Separately.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see if I can spawn here. And I can. So you can also shoot out the Phantom gun as well. Which is also really cool. It's a weapon that you're never supposed to be able to use in the entire game. And as you'll see here, you can move extremely fast as this vehicle. It is the fastest vehicle in the entire game. It's just insane with how fast it is. And if I move to new graphics, you'll see that, you know, yeah, still the Phantom. Yeah, if I come down here, I can really mess with this Pelican stay, and it's very cool.
My Pelicans are gonna start airlifting armor and reinforcements.
Yeah, that guy's not having a great
They'll need
time,
an escort
is
that
he?
isn't afraid of the hostile ground.
And now I guess to just end this, I'm gonna show you guys the co-op route of this. So we mentioned earlier that you can't survive in void space or outside map geometry because the game kills you. But one of the cool traits of being the Phantom is that you're 100% invincible. So like you'll see like my screen is red. That's because like it's doing damage to me, but I'm still invincible. So what I can do here is I can just fly out of bounds. And I'm actually going to go to a very specific spot to hit a low trigger I need to hit for the level to work. And if I remember correctly, it's right around here.
I've been analyzing the Covenant tactical chat.
Oh, and I hit it right there. So I hit the low trigger, and now this guy's just stuck in the void, just standing still, can't move. But we as the Phantom, we can keep on moving. And all the twists and turns that we had to do beforehand to get our Warthog through the tunnels, we can just fly in a very straight path to the end, and it saves like 2.5 minutes off of like the previous co-op record. So we can just fly right to the end here, and that's the end of Outskirts. But yeah, that's pretty much it for arbitrary unit possession.
Yep, there are a lot of cool applications for it. I think we're still at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this trick. There's so much still to discover. So it's an exciting time to be in the Halo community when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
That's absolutely amazing to see there. Really good. But yeah, that's going to be it for the little Halo blog we had here. Again, big thank you to Hark and Chronos Returns for running here. Thank you for providing the commentary there, Sakela, and Rap as well. But we're going to get ourselves set up for the final run of the marathon here. It is GTA San Andreas Los Santos with crowd control. We're going to get that set up. We'll be right back after a quick break here prepare to enjoy yourselves. Get ready for some good fun.